Good morning. This is Mr. Jillie. Today we're going to talk about color schemes and we're going to talk about oil pastels. All right. If you look here, there's a color wheel. We're talking about analogous colors. Analogous colors, they blend really well. These are the colors that are next to each other in a color wheel or in a rainbow. Here's some examples of analogous colors. There's analogous blue colors, which would be green blues, and purple blues, blue purple colors. Or you could get yellow orange analogous colors, where you got yellow orange, orange, and yellow. These are alike colors and they blend really nicely. We're going to use them with our oil pastels. Next, let's take a look at complementary colors. Complementary colors are opposite colors, like red and green, orange and blue, yellow and purple. These colors look really bright when you put them next to each other. Let's take a look at an example. Here we have a pumpkin I drew. I used analogous colors inside the pumpkin, and I used complementary colors as the background. I'm going to draw a pumpkin right now, show you how to use oil pastels. My pumpkin, I'm going to use some orange to start out, and I'm going to draw the shape of my pumpkin with my oil pastel. Got kind of a C shape. I'm going to make a backward C shape. Then I could get some orange on there and start coloring it. A lot of kids, they'll do this. They'll color it with their orange. Maybe they'll draw a little stem on there. And they'll be done. They'll say, I'm done. No, no, this is very basic. We did not use analogous colors. Analogous colors, especially with oil pastels, you want to layer them on top of each other. You want to put them right on top of each other and blend them together. So I have orange analogous colors. I have some red orange. I have some yellow. And I'm going to start adding these on top. With oil pastels, you want to put them right on top of each other. In fact, you could do this with crayons too. You could put your crayons right on top of each other. Try layering your crayons. On one side, I'm going to put more reddish. On the other side, I'm going to put more yellowish. And I'm going to keep adding more and more and layering them on top. More orange. Notice my oil pastels, they're little broken bits and pieces, but they still work great. Your crayons break like that sometimes too. You can still use them even when they're little bits. I found some yellow orange, and I'm going to put that on top. You'll notice the more I layer it, the more it blends together. I'm blending analogous colors. Looks great. I think it needs a little more of that red orange. Ooh, this pumpkin's looking good. Now, my friends, I have one more step for my pumpkin. I'm going to blend the colors with my finger. You can also use a paper towel. Notice how the colors really meld together and mix nicely. It's looking good. I have to hold my paper down to blend it. And I'm keeping my finger within the lines. I'm not rubbing outside the lines of my pumpkin and getting it on other spots of my paper. I want these colors to stay within the pumpkin. I don't want to smudge them outside. All right. I'm going to put a little more detail on that stem with some dark green. and maybe a little brownish. I got this nice kind of reddish brown. All right. I got my pumpkin. I used analogous colors and I blended it together. Next, let's do a complementary color background. So I used a lot of orange and yellow and red for my pumpkin. I want to use blues, maybe greens and purples for my background. My main focus is going to be getting lots of blues on there. So let me pick out some colors out of my pastels. See, my pastels are a bit of a mess. They work great. These are very well loved pastels. They've been used by many artists. So I'm looking for different shades of blue. Oh man, that's a little itty bit. Maybe bluish purple colors. All right. Now I'm going to draw a horizon line. I'm going to draw a line that goes and stops at the pumpkin and goes behind it like so. Separates the sky from the ground. And then I'm going to start layering colors. So I have this blue. I'm doing a rubbing, trying to be careful around the edge of the pumpkin. I'm using the side just like when you use a crayon rubbing. And I laid down some kind of nice dark blue. I have this lighter blue I'm putting on. See, they're already kind of mixing. I'm going to finish it off with my finger. Let's see if I have any more shades I want to put on. Here's this nice dark purple. Just going to kind of put a little bit of that in there. When you add more colors, more analogous colors, you want 2 or 3 so that they really mix together nicely. And you'll see little bits of different blues and different purples melding together. It's going to take a moment. You'll see the little white spots on the paper all get covered and blended together. Might need a little more pastel on some of these parts. Whoops, gotta hold that paper down. You'll see pastels, you need to take your time. Don't try and rush. Don't just use one color. I need to blend for a minute, few minutes. Take your time. Yes, looking good. All right. Now I used blue on the ground or the table. I'm going to use another complement for the sky, maybe a dark green or greenish blue for the sky. I got more blues and purples on the ground. I'm going to do blues and greens for the sky just to differentiate it, make it look different than the ground. So this time I think I'm going to use this dark green and start filling up the sky with this. And I'm going to use some of that dark blue that I've been using. It's a great complementary color. for that orange. It's going to make this orange pumpkin look really bright. If I used a similar color for my background as the pumpkin, if I used like yellow, for example, the pumpkin wouldn't look so bright. It would kind of blend in, almost camouflage. We want it to stand out. So I got dark blue and green. Maybe I'll add some gray. The gray is kind of a neutral color. Just going to use this to blend it and kind of bring everything together. And finally, I'm going to blend these sky colors together. Kind of a blue, green, gray mix. See, it looks similar to the colors on the ground, but there's enough of a difference for you to tell them apart and show that it's ground and sky. Both of these colors, the ground colors and sky colors, serve as complements to our pumpkin. All right. Looking good. Everything's kind of blended together. That pumpkin looks really bright with that complementary background. My final touch, I'm going to make it look more three-dimensional by adding a shadow. I'm going to pretend like the light's coming from the upper right corner. So this side, I already made it a little lighter. Make it look like the light's kind of shining off it. And I'm going to put the shadow down on the ground on this side. Putting the shadow on the ground and also on the side of this pumpkin.
Good morning, Northwood. We are on rainy day schedule today. Rainy day schedule. Thank you.
So I got this black, making the shadow. You don't want to overdo it. The black is powerful. It's a really strong color. Tends to overpower objects a little bit. All right, and finally, I'm going to blend this together. I need to use a clean finger so I don't get too much blue in there. I'm going to put a little bit of a blend on it. Not too much. You don't want to overblend it. Sometimes you overblend things if you go too hard. You'll learn how much to blend it by trial and error, by practice. The more you use pastels, the better feel you'll have for them. All right. That really makes it look more three-dimensional, gives it an implied form, makes it look more like a real three-dimensional object. All right. So today we used oil pastels, we blended analogous colors, and then we did a complementary color background, which we also blended with analogous colors. Yup, complementary analogous colors. Whoa. Finally, we added a touch of a shadow on there. Today we learned about oil pastels. We also learned about analogous colors and complementary colors. I will see you guys in art class. Great job. Thank you so much.